My whole world is crashing right now. I never thought that this could happen to me. I am deeply in love with my husband and I thought he loved me too. My husband Sam and I met after college at a book club. We fell in love and married a year later right out of college. I honestly thought that my life was a dream come true. He was kind and silly and he made me feel loved. I found out last week that my husband never loved me. I overheard Sam talking to his friend on FT when he thought I couldn't hear. His friend was congratulating Sam on bagging me, because I'm loaded. That's not true. Though I make a decent living and my parents recently had some success in their business abroad, I don't make nearly enough to be considered wealthy, perhaps upper middle class at best. It's not like I can quit my job tomorrow and be set for life. I'm a financial analyst and make $300,000 working 70 hours a week. Sam is a customer service advisor for a bank and makes $50,000 working 35 hours a week. Edit, yes, I was in investment banking out of college. Sam has had this job for 4 months. He has a spotty work history due to not getting along with his bosses. Sam then said that all his planning paid off and he'd live the easy life. His friend added that he couldn't imagine being married to me, waking up to my face. I've never been very attractive, I'm very skinny and have a thin face and a wide nose, but Sam made me feel like the most beautiful woman in the world. Sam just laughed and said it's easy when you have the mindset. I pretended I didn't hear and went back upstairs and just lied in bed. I've been sleeping on the couch with the excuse of working late and not disturbing him. Every time, I've woken up in our bed with him cuddling me. I don't feel loved. I feel used, had been blowing up my phone for the entire day, spamming me with accusing, but not untrue messages. The conversation did not go well, he accused me of avoiding him, which was true. I just couldn't look at him. I used work as an excuse. He said I was withholding affection from him. He also accused me of being unfaithful to him, which was never true. I have a new coworker who just started approximately 2 weeks ago and Sam was convinced I was having an affair with him. I told him I didn't even know that coworker. How could I have an affair? I finally told him about what I overheard and how hurt I was. His response was to deny ever having that conversation and deny ever saying anything. He told me I probably misheard something or hallucinated due to stress. I received several very helpful messages about a post my husband might have made. Though some of the details don't match up, most of it do, our salaries, the time we've been married, the couch thing, and I asked him if he wrote the Reddit post. He told me he doesn't do Reddit but didn't outright deny making the post and asked me what I was doing on my phone all day for the past few days, which was reading all your messages on this throwaway. I told him that and he looked incredibly upset. I told him that what he did really hurt me and he still insisted it never happened. I asked him if he ever loved me and he said don't be stupid, of course I do. You're the one cheating on me. I told him I never cheated on him. It felt like the conversation was going in circles. I brought up the possibility of a postnup, and he scoffed and said he didn't want a divorce. If I tried to divorce him, he had a right to a lot of alimony. That part is true. Our state has strong alimony rights for spouses with salary differences. He only had his job for a few months and it's the highest paying one he has had. He said who's going to take care of you when you're sick if you try to divorce me? I asked him if he ever lied to me or hid things from me and eventually he admitted that the way we met wasn't an accident. He knew who I was and that I would be there and pretended to stumble into me as an excuse to make conversation. I demanded counseling as a first step and to my surprise he agreed. At that point, I was getting a splitting headache not a migraine, which I also get often. I went to bed and he gave me a glass of water and medicine and we just didn't bring it up. I took today off work because I feel burnt out. I don't feel like anything is resolved. Now I doubt myself and everything I heard. If I truly didn't hear that, then I blew up my marriage for nothing. If he did say that and he's capable of lying for 10 years, then why would I stay with him? At least we're getting marriage counseling, and therapy for myself. Excuse me for the numerous typos and grammatical errors. I'm exhausted. Update 2. Background info, I overheard a conversation in which my husband essentially told his friend the reason he was with me was because I was his piggy bank. I make a lot more than he does and I do most of the chores. Sam also basically admitted he wasn't attracted to me. I tried to talk to him based on the info I had and the suspicion that he had also made a Reddit post though he doesn't use Reddit. Sam shut me down and told me the conversation with his friend never happened. I've been waffling between writing this post and not, since I think my husband has been reading my posts. I've already deleted it twice. But he thinks Reddit is a waste of time and the outpouring of emotional support I get here outweighs him reading the thread. We've had a few short, but devastating conversations since then. Based on Reddit advice, I tried to get evidence that he was with me for my money. After my husband reluctantly admitted that we didn't meet on accident, I pushed and found out the reason he pursued me is that I'm stable and I would do everything for him and never leave him. His birth mother left and he was young, leaving his family very poor until his grandfather died. I feel sorry for him and understand why he did this, but there's a small, selfish part of me that wonders why he chose me for this life. I thought I recorded him but nothing shows up in my phone. It doesn't matter since we are an all-party consent state. Sometimes I wonder if I was blind. Sam is far more attractive than me, though my own preference tends to lie in the unconventional. I should have realized he is not attracted to me and that it was one-sided love. I am not beautiful compared to other women, and when I try to wear makeup or fashionable clothes, I can tell he is not impressed. I thought it was because he liked me better natural. My mother used to say a pig wearing makeup is uglier than a pig. I understand that now. That's partially the reason why I could not stand pretending everything was alright. My love language is touch. I constantly like to hug him or hold his hand or stroke his back or pet his hair. Knowing that he only tolerates my touch horrifies me. I don't want to be the source of someone's discomfort. I am also ashamed of being so vulnerable, knowing that he hates who I am and the way I look, knowing that he has seen me in my most vulnerable moments. I don't want to be a burden. After one night where I locked myself in the bathroom and slept in the bathtub, he hasn't been moving me from the couch. I think the reason he moved me is to pretend our life hadn't changed rather than any real concern for me. That's why he complained about me withholding affection. I went back to work and continued the routine I had done for a few weeks, working as much as possible until I had to go home. I cried a lot at work. I passed out at work one day, and when I woke up my boss told me to go home. He was angry. I tried to drive home, but I still felt woozy, so I parked in a car and fell asleep. I was awoken by a police officer who gave me a warning for sleeping in a car. Apparently, that's a red flag for DUIs. I drove home and Sam was furious. He somehow had known that I was sent home early. He demanded to know who I was with. I told him the truth. Sam has been sweet to me since. He hasn't taken off work and he only does about an hour of real work a day, which strangely makes me envious of my own husband. Sam has been making sure I rest, making all our meals, and doing the chores. My work has demanded that I take off at least 2 more weeks of sick leave since my episode at the office. However, they are also simultaneously making me do work, and implied that my performance bonus will be impacted by my stunt if I divorce my husband. The consequences will be beyond me losing the love of my life. My parents will cut me off from our family. They will not let me see my grandparents ever, who are in very delicate health. My grandparents raised me as a child when I was sent back to live with them in our home country. My family would not be surprised if Sam divorces me. My parents even told me at our wedding that he will leave me and that I should have married the man they arranged, who wanted me for my citizenship. I will not have any support. In a feverish state, I once offered to give him all of my savings and pay alimony for life if he filed for divorce, and he told me to shut up and sleep. I don't know what conditions I can set for the divorce. I'm losing my husband, I'm losing my grandparents, maybe even my job. What do I do? My grandparents were in an arranged marriage. Divorce is stigmatized and they are not very open to the idea at all. They do want what's best for me, but what they think is best is, at best, 30 years behind the times. I am eternally grateful that they took care of me and loved me, and I would be devastated if my parents cut me off from them. I did not hallucinate anything or have a psychotic break. Initially my husband denied everything, included the phone call. The first thing he admitted that we didn't meet on accident. He had known who I was somehow and had pursued me. Then, he admitted that he wasn't attracted to me. He also admitted that the reason he pursued me and the reason he is still married to me is that I'm stable and I would do everything for him and never leave him. Update 3. Before marriage counseling, I found out husband hid that he had borderline personality disorder. My husband Sam and I agreed to marriage counseling to see if we could save our marriage. This is an out-of-pocket expense. Before we could go to our first session, we had to fill out several forms and questionnaires. One question asked about any diagnoses we had. My husband revealed that he had been diagnosed with borderline personality disorder and relationship obsessive-compulsive disorder 2 years ago. I knew he went to a psychiatrist/neuropsychologist, but he just said they found nothing and there was nothing wrong with him. I was shocked because he never told me. When I asked why he would hide this from me, he said that it was his medical history and I couldn't leave him for something not under his control. Sam is not in therapy. Obviously, I would have supported him and gotten the help he needed. Ever since this came out, Sam has been saying that if I divorce him, I'm abandoning him and that it would be proof I never loved him or care about him. That's not true. I do love him. That's why I'm doing this. If I divorce him and pay alimony, he'll find someone he's actually in love with. We'd both be happy. Sam has not given me a moment of space, but to be fair, I had a high fever a few days ago. Sam said he wants life to go back to normal before all this happened and we were happy, but I don't understand why he would want to continue to live a lie. I'm offering him a way out and he refuses. Is it because of his diagnoses? How do we move forward from this? Is marriage counseling even worth it? Am I making a mistake? Thank you for your helpful response. Your friend should not have treated you like this. I think I feel hurt because my husband didn't trust me with this information, though we have been married for a decade. I would never have abandoned him and would have encouraged him to get DBT therapy or anything else that would help. His birth mother left him as a child, leaving his family destitute until an inheritance from his grandfather. I think that is why he married me, because I represented stability both financially and in our home life. Not love. I do love him and I do care about him deeply, but how can I tell him that I will always be there for him when we are heading for divorce? I would be lying to him. I will not be in his life. We both deserve to be with someone we love. I'm not going to chain him to marriage because of his fear of financial instability. I'm not my father. I will pay alimony. His life will be the exact same, maybe even more money for a cleaner and meal prep, just with the ability to find someone he loves. It's hard to talk about marriage counseling and the possibility of divorce without him breaking down. I can't bear to see him cry. I bought a glass jar of homemade fruit preserve at a farmer's market. The seller, Mary, 60s F, was a nice older lady that I've bought from before. Because we know each other, she gives me a discount if I bring back the empty jar, since she saves money. She gave me a fancier glass jar than usual today because she ran out of the regular ones. I can't return the jar. I found an identical jar at Target and I plan to give her that. The reason I don't want to tell her is that she's very kind but inquisitive, and she'll ask why I didn't bring the original back, and she'll say that I didn't have to replace it, etc. I don't want her to worry. It was destroyed. My husband threw it and it shattered. There's no way to put it back. He's a fan of fruit preserves, so I got a new flavor I thought he would like to try. He was upset that I got him a gift, so he threw it on the ground. He was apologetic, but there's no way to put it back together. We have been going through a very rough patch. Apparently the gift was a reminder that no one will love him like I do. That was not my intention. I just thought he would like it. I can't honestly say it was an accident, since my husband threw it on the ground on purpose. I had my first therapy session ever on Saturday, a weekend online therapist who is licensed. When she asked what issues I wanted to resolve, one problem I told her was that I felt like I didn't deserve anything in life. My therapist said that it wasn't an issue, but a blessing, since I can practice gratefulness. I am grateful for the smallest things, but intellectually I feel as though I should not be grateful for them. I feel like a doormat in my personal and professional life. My work demands extremely long work hours. I remember the worst week I ever had in my career was 104 hours of work. I'm exhausted, but my boss relies on me and me only, even though there are other members of the team. He says I'm his biggest asset, and I am grateful for being recognized. Yet, others have gotten promotions off the team and into more relaxed roles. I have not. I've worked here for years, and I've only taken 11 days off for vacation the entire time, not because I want to work, but because I'm needed. I had invasive wisdom teeth surgery on Thursday, and I got both an infection and dry socket over the weekend. We had a deal going through, and I went to work yesterday in pain with a fever because my boss demanded that I be there. I worked until 12:17 a.m. and didn't eat anything since I was in so much pain. I was supposed to Uber back to my hotel. My husband and I are discussing divorce, but I pressed the wrong destination and went back to our house instead. I feel asleep in our front yard, where my husband found me. Luckily nothing happened to me, since I live in a relatively safe area. My husband is thrilled I came home. He pleaded with me to cancel the rest of the hotel stay, and I caved in. I feel selfish for divorcing him, and I feel selfish for staying. I don't want to be like my father, using money to force someone to stay with them. I got my dry sockets treated. I need someone to help me irrigate the holes, since doing it myself caused the infection, but I don't know who to ask. No friends or family live nearby. I just haven't been eating because I don't want to get another infection. Looking at this post, I feel so much self-loathing. It's filled with aggrandizing self-pity. The price of my job is the loss of a personal life. Many people would be happy to be in my position, making as much money as I do. Many people would be thrilled to live my life, and have a home to come to and food in their stomachs. There's no reason for me to be unhappy, yet I am. And I know I should feel entitled to some things, but if my therapist says not being expectant is a good thing, then what is my problem? What is wrong with me? What I told my therapist was, I struggle to believe that I deserve anything. Though I feel that people in general are entitled to things like love or happiness or rest, I feel like I do not. For some reason, I feel that other people's needs are more important than my own. I'd like to gain these skills. I wrote it out. I later mentioned how I wanted to take a health day, but my coworker wanted to take the day off, so I didn't, because I felt that he deserved the day off. I wished I had the self-confidence to still ask for the day, instead of thinking of my team's needs. I'm not sure if it's an issue of gratefulness or deserving or just self-esteem. My therapist said it was good that I feel like I deserve nothing, because I can practice gratefulness, and that it was a blessing not to be entitled. My husband Sam and I have access to each other's phones, computers, emails, etc. Normally, I don't read my husband's things, though I know he sometimes checks my messages and the like. Today, he left his laptop open to his messages, and I saw my name in a message alert from his friend who does not like me. I read more of the chat. A few days ago Sam was arguing with his father over the phone. He was angrier than usual and gesticulating. I went to get something, and when I was behind him, his fist accidentally hit my jaw. He apologized immediately and it was fine. I've had a couple of minor surgeries unrelated to this incident, so I don't look great. I can see why someone would be concerned. My new friends and my therapist were very concerned too when they saw me, but when I explained, they understood. Sam's friend saw me yesterday for a minute. In the chat, he asked Sam why I had a messed up face, and Sam said it was fine and not interfere in our marriage. The friend was telling Sam that he should leave me and it was alright if we divorced because there were a lot of women who wanted him. The last message said, "You can't hit her wife BC, she wants a divorce. Oos, take the check and go." Throughout the entire conversation Sam never told his friend it was an accident. He just said that I was his wife and it was not his friend's business. I feel awful for violating his privacy, and I will tell him, but I'm also confused why he would say this and not clarify the accident. I don't know. I'm just deeply exhausted by it all. Separating, disentangling finances, surgeries, regressions, breaking from my job, stress. It was all overwhelming. My wonderful therapist has told me to break down my problems into simple steps, and if I'm too exhausted to act, to just let it be for now and gather up my strength for the next thing. I just had an abdominal hysterectomy and right now recovery is my next hurdle. I'm in pain but I'm hopeful. My husband has been doing everything around the house. I can't lift most things and it hurts to be too active. He works. He cleans. He has learned to cook some surprisingly complex meals that I like. He irrigates my sockets because hey haven't fully healed and I can't see properly. That was how I got an infection. He helps me shower. While he does things like this, it makes me feel guilty for wanting to divorce him. It makes me think he blames himself for accidents like in the post. That he does love me. But then I remember the fact that he doesn't have any photos of me on his phone and that he admitted he didn't love me at first and other silly things, and I just wonder why we can't live apart happily. Yes, it is the same friend. My husband has a circle of childhood friends. I know a few dislike me. One of them has told me that she wished my husband had married a mutual friend of theirs instead of me. I do feel like an intruder in their friendship circle. I'm happy to say that, now that I'm on leave from work and unlikely to return, my coworkers have grown into close friends. It makes me kind of sad that I chose to work from home a lot, missing out on the closeness they have demonstrated. We did start marriage counseling. Our marriage counselor is wonderful, as is my therapist. My husband has started DBT therapy but he hates it. Our counselor says one of our root problems is the way we define ourselves. I see myself for what I can provide people. I am a hard worker, I am efficient, I cook, I clean, I can do this or that, rather than what I am intrinsically. My husband defines himself on what he loves and hates, his interests and disinterests. Last weekend, my husband Sam and a few of his friends and spouses arranged to go to an amusement park. I am not a huge fan of loud, hot, crowded places. I find it overwhelming. Moreover, I could not go on the thrill rides as I recently had surgery and have very high blood pressure. Sam convinced me to go to connect with his friends. When we came, their itinerary was a tight schedule of all thrill rides. The first ride was a roller coaster. I was in line as a placeholder for a person. One friend, Jake, collected everyone's phones and put he in his bag. I tried to tell him that I couldn't go on the ride, but it seems I was unclear. I didn't want to make a fuss for this one ride, so I gave him my phone. When the person returned, I got out of line and waited at one of the two exits as they would meet me there. After waiting for 40 minutes, I realized they must have gone to the other exit and left without me. I checked the other nearby rides but I couldn't find them. I went to a first aid station, and I called my phone and then my husband, but he didn't pick up. At first I tried to stay in the area, but it was high traffic, loud, and very hot. I still had my pass and cash with me. I found a quieter, shaded area, bought lunch, met a very nice elderly couple who showed me a few spots, won a plushie and a blanket from a vending machine, and had dinner. I had fun. There was an announcement that the park would close in half an hour. I decided I would go to our parked car to wait for the group. 30 minutes later, one of Sam's friends, Nancy, found me next to the car and dragged me to the others. They were furious because they had been frantically looking for me for the last half an hour. Update 4. This is how the day went. Jake gathered everyone's loose items including phones, wallets, hats, etc. in his bag and put it in a locker. I made a mistake and put my phone in his bag since I didn't want to hold them up. A bit later, I crossed over to the exit line, walked down, and waited at the exit. They were supposed to meet me there. My husband's group got split. Sam rode in the second half and heard from his friend that the first group didn't want to do another thrill ride. They slipped back to the entrance with the lockers instead of going to the exit. When I wasn't at the lockers, he thought I left with the first group without waiting for him. He was hurt and decided not to contact me until I contacted him. He thought if I loved him, I would contact him. Meanwhile, I was waiting at the exit. I realized that Sam had already left when I saw the same people exit twice, meaning they rode the coaster, waited in line again, and rode the again. This was approx 40 minutes after the 25 wait time the line stated. I went to the first aid station and called him. I made a mistake. I forgot he doesn't respond/call back unknown numbers because of scams. Sam's friends got back together and split throughout the day. He was upset when I wasn't with any group because he thought I left them too and I hadn't tried to contact him. When the park announced the closing, he was worried. He and his friends called my phone. They dug through Jake's backpack and saw that my phone was there and it was dead. Sam found out no one had seen me since the first ride. He called back the unknown number and it was the first aid station who confirmed I was there. Our marriage counselor said I was passive and lacked boundaries. I should have said no to the entire idea. I agree with her. I'm working on me with my therapist. She said that Sam was so willing to believe I left him in his desire to test if I still loved him that he left me in a dangerous situation. His therapist said he defines himself by the love I give him, which is unhealthy. Sam apologized the entire time. He feels guilty. He mopes around the house. I gave him the plushie I won and it only made him happy for a few minutes. I think I made it worse. He constantly checks my hand to see if I'm still wearing my rings. Giving up my phone was my fault, I agree. Jake told me to put my phone in his bag. I told him I wasn't going on this ride, but I don't think I made it clear to him. He told me to put my phone in again and there were others with their phones out waiting to put theirs in, so I put mine in to not create a fuss. I thought that since we agreed to meet up at the exit, it would be fine if I didn't have my phone. Unfortunately, my phone was on mute as well. I should have not done so. We arrived there in the morning. There are long lines for the most anticipated thrill rides. I only had an abdominal hysterectomy, so while I can't lift heavy things or walk a lot, I'm mostly fine.